Corey with Alamo City Arts, and this is Symphony, Viva, our symphony from our organization. You're here for Arts Connect. I hope you enjoy it and learn a lot from this. Please silence your phones if you have any, teachers. And if there is a restroom, if anybody needs to use the restroom, please wait until a movement is finished. And have one of your teachers help you get there. And if you can hold, this is only about 45 minutes, so if you can hold it, that would be great. Also, there's exits to this side and this side. If anything happens, please move to that direction. With further ado, we're going to start up our concert. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everybody. How are you? I hope you're awake and excited. It sounds like you are from what I heard backstage. So, my name is Dr. Kinnear. You can call me Dr. K. And we are so excited, Symphony, Viva, and I, to be doing this concert for you. In particular, because it's about a piece of music that I truly love. It's called Scheherazade. Everybody say Scheherazade? Not bad. Well, I like the inflection there. That was good. So, Scheherazade is an incredible story written by a composer named Rimsky-Korsakov. Say, Nikolai Rimsky-Korsakov. Nikolai Rimsky-Korsakov. Hey, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. We're going to take you on the road. So, we want to play some parts of this very long piece. It's very colorful. It's got a lot of twists and turns, and we really hope you enjoy it. So, the first thing we want to say is that Scheherazade, the actual story, is actually a written story that has a big collection of all kinds of old tales and folk tales, ancient kind of stories, and it's referred to as 1001 Arabian Nights. You might have heard that before. Hey, so our story is going to begin with our first character, the Sultan. The Sultan is a kind of king in the Middle East, and he's a mean guy in this story. He's not a very kind-hearted person. Let's hear what the Sultan's theme sounds like. We can go to that slide. Pretty crazy, right? You can clap, that's good. By the way, anytime after the music is over, if I put my hands down, you can feel free to clap if you enjoyed what you heard. That's totally fine. So, he's our first character. Obviously, he's a little severe, a little bit angry, and he had this practice of marrying a different person every day, and then the next morning, this is a story, remember, next morning, putting them to death. Yeah, I know. So, Scheherazade was the most beautiful woman in the kingdom, in this kingdom. And she was probably the cleverest and smartest. And she said, you know what? I'm going to marry the Sultan. And her dad said, are you crazy? He's going to kill you the next day. And she said, I got a plan. She had a lot of tricks up her sleeve, as we'll find. Let's play Scheherazade's theme. This is represented by the concertmaster, or the principal violin player, and the harp, and she spins some beautiful tales. So, she's obviously very beautiful, very clever. So what she decides to do is start telling a long story to the Sultan in the evening after they got married. But she's clever enough to know that if she doesn't finish the story, if she leaves it on a cliffhanger, you know what a cliffhanger is? You ever heard that? Yeah. You don't know what the ending is going to be. It stops before the dramatic conclusion of it. So she does that for the Sultan. She starts talking about Sinbad the sailor, who goes on all of these adventures, and then we're going to play the first movement for you, a little bit of it, that talks about that, with the waves crashing in the cellos and the basses. You'll hear it. And she'll tell this story, but she won't get to the end, and the Sultan will say, I have to hear the end. So he lets her live for another day. And that's the trick. So now we're going to play the first movement of Scheherazade by Nikolai Rimsky-Korsakov. Thank you for your applause. That was exactly the right moment, too. You guys are a professional audience. Good job. Thank you. So, we have to continue our story. I mean, wasn't that amazing, though? So many different instruments we heard, solo instruments and colors. I think Rimsky-Korsakov is a kind of magician, a musical magician that gets to choose exactly the right instrument at the right time to make the right colors and sounds. So, we need to get back to our story. Scheherazade had already lasted one night, right? And so she was going to start telling more and more stories. So the second story, the second night she told, was about the Kalendar Prince. Now, Kalendar isn't a word we know. I didn't know before this piece, learning about this piece. But this prince had to flee his kingdom because his father, the king, had been removed from the throne. So he had to go and hide somewhere to get away from all the people who were after him. So he had to disguise himself as a calendar. And in that time, a calendar was a kind of poor, wandering nomad who had to beg for a living. So he knew that if he, as a prince, dressed up, disguised himself as a kind of nomad, no one would find him. And so, the sad, somber melody of the Kalendar Prince is played by the bassoon. Meredith's right, our principal bassoon. You see the bassoon back there? There we go, beautiful, double reed instrument. So, we're going to play that tune right now. It sounds like this. Beautiful, right? But sad. You can tell that he is not happy having to disguise himself. So, there is one other little melody that I want you to hear in this second movement that we're going to play for you. And it's a kind of like spinning or whirling idea. It's a kind of dance that the calendars would do. This is played by our principal clarinetist, Gary Fair. Gary, you want to hold up your clarinet? There it is, right next to Meredith. And he's going to play the spinning motive that we have at the bottom of the screen. You can imagine someone whirling around as they dance, right? So now, without further ado, we're going to play part of the second movement that talks about the Kalendar Prince story. Enjoy. Exciting music, isn't it? I hope you think so. I love it. Yes, good. Love it. So, the next story that Scheherazade tells the Sultan is part of the third movement of this piece. And Scheherazade tells this story about the young prince and the young princess. They were from different countries, different kingdoms. So they weren't brother and sister or anything. They're from way far away from each other. Both of their fathers, the king, in their kingdom said, you need to get married. And they both said, no, I don't want to. And so, again, it's a story. Their father put them both in prison. What? So, they're both in prison in different places, but they start dreaming about a magical other person that they're falling in love with. And it happens to be a picture of that other, the prince and the princess. They don't know who it is, they don't know their name, they don't know where they live, but they start to keep dreaming about it and dreaming about it, and eventually the prince says, I have to break out. So he breaks out of the prison, he escapes, and he goes in search of this magical princess that he had been dreaming about. Eventually he finds her, and sure enough they fall in love, and they get married. So the theme of this movement is played by the violins right here, first and second violins, and the theme sounds like this. Beautiful, right? It's almost like the orchestra or the strings are singing. And that's, I think, what Rimsky-Korsakov is after. They're singing a love duet or a love melody to each other. So, this is the third movement of Scheherazade, the young prince and young princess story. light, lighthearted, but also loving, beautiful, long, singing kind of melodies. All right, there are actually 2 more stories we want to tell you, or Scheherazade wants to tell you, that she told the Sultan. So, the first one is very simple. It's a festival scene. It's a party scene in Baghdad. Baghdad is the current capital of Iraq in the Middle East. But at this time, there was a huge festival in this story. You can imagine people dancing, singing, eating, food, different drinks, everything, and colorful banners flying around everywhere in the streets. There is a little theme that starts very softly in the flutes. Greg and Laura, can you hold up your flutes here? They're going to play the little melody here that starts, and you can imagine maybe that there's a procession or some kind of festival that's farther away, and as you get closer, it gets louder. Okay? So here's the beginning of that. A lot of energy, but it's soft, isn't it? So, now we're going to play the first half of the 4th and final movement of Scheherazade. It's a big festival scene. Now, this movement begins with the Sultan kind of still angry, like, why aren't you telling the ends of these stories? And then Scheherazade comes in with some very dramatic filigree. So, enjoy. You know what we did there to you? We left you on a cliffhanger. We left you on a cliffhanger. You don't know what's going to happen at the end, but luckily we're going to play the end of the piece. We're not just going to leave you suspended. So, we've actually reached the last part of our story. Scheherazade has gone on to telling stories to the Sultan for 1,001 nights. How long? That's like 3 years. She's got a lot of stories in her noggin. Yeah? So, she tells this last story of another Kalendar Prince. And this prince actually takes a whole crew of sailors on a big ship and goes for a voyage, kind of like Sinbad the sailor. But this time, they encounter these magical rocks, this cliff that comes out of the ocean, and it's magically magnetic, right? So it draws them in, it draws the ship in, no matter what they try to do, and it breaks apart the ship into 1,000 little pieces, and the ship sinks. The prince is the only person who survives, and he lives on a desert island for a long time before being rescued. So it's another long but very good story. And at the end, the Sultan says, "You are so amazing. How could I ever leave you? So I really want to marry you for real, and I won't kill you." Crazy. So it's about time, right? Scheherazade's the smartest, most beautiful woman in the whole kingdom. So the whole kingdom is overjoyed that this has happened. His old practices, his old ways, the Sultan are gone. He's happy again, and everyone lives happily ever after. With that, I want to say we're going to play our last little excerpt for you, a little piece of the fourth movement. It's the very end of the piece. You'll hear the ship going over the waves and getting sucked into the rocks and exploding into 1,000 pieces and sinking. And I wanted to also mention that I loved, and I looked at all of them, all of the paintings that we've been seeing today. I looked at all of them, I love them. They are so beautiful. You should give yourselves a round of applause for all of the paintings that you made with us. You're above my artistic level. They really were cool, and they had so much imagination and creativity. Keep doing them. So, Symphony Viva, Arts Connect, Alamo City Arts, and the Symphony League are so grateful, and I'm grateful. We're all grateful to be able to play for you today. I hope you've been enjoying it. This is the last section of Scheherazade. Keep listening. Listen to some classical music. Listen to any kind of music. Be curious and be kind to each other, okay? So, here's our last section. Thank you so much for being here and listening. today and listening so beautifully and being such a great audience. You're a professional audience. Do you mind if we take you on tour with us? That'd be great, right? You can clap? Yes, great. I hope you have a great day. We will see you soon, okay? Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming today. I hope you enjoyed everything. Part of putting on a production is we have to have support for this, and I would like to thank the City of San Antonio, Arts and Culture, Crystal Jones. Let's give her a big round of applause. And also Cynthia Delapena from the Community First Dance. And of course, the San Antonio Symphony League, who has given us the support, and we also did the paint the music with them. And I'd also like to give a couple of mentions here. Kerrigan and Sophia, Harlow, and Evelyn. Give yourself a big round of applause. I hope that you all continue to enjoy music, come to concerts, keep on drawing, and be smart. Stay in school. Thank you.